Once upon a time, in a small corner of a quiet forest, there lived a curious little mouse named Mimi. Mimi was unlike any other mouse in the forest. While all the other mice spent their days eating and playing, Mimi was always looking for ways to explore the world beyond her small corner of the forest. One day, Mimi decided that she couldn't wait any longer to see the world. She had heard stories from other mice about the wonders that lay beyond the forest, and she was determined to find out for herself. So she set out on a journey, leaving her cozy little burrow behind. As she ventured out into the unknown, Mimi discovered all sorts of new and exciting things. She saw towering trees that reached up to the sky and shimmering streams that sparkled in the sunlight. She met all kinds of creatures she had never seen before, from chirping birds to slithering snakes. Mimi's journey took her far from her home, and she soon found herself lost in a maze of twisting paths and towering trees. But instead of feeling scared, Mimi was filled with wonder and excitement. She knew that every twist and turn held the promise of something new and exciting. As she wandered deeper into the forest, Mimi began to notice small changes in the landscape around her. The air grew colder, and the trees grew taller and thinner. She soon realized that she had stumbled into a magical place, a place unlike any she had ever seen before. In this magical place, Mimi met a wise old owl who taught her about the stars and the moon. She met a friendly family of squirrels who showed her how to gather nuts and berries, and she even met a mischievous rabbit who taught her how to play tricks on her friends. Despite all the wonderful things she had seen and all the new friends she had made, Mimi knew that it was time to return home. She missed her cozy little burrow and the friends she had left behind. So she bid farewell to her new friends and set out on the long journey back to her corner of the forest. As she made her way back through the forest, Mimi couldn't help but feel grateful for all the new experiences she had gained on her journey. She had seen so many wondrous things and met so many amazing creatures, and she knew that she would never forget any of it. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Mimi arrived back at her cozy little burrow. Her friends were there waiting for her, and they welcomed her back with open arms. Mimi knew that she would always cherish the memories of her journey, but she also knew that there was truly no place like home. From that day on, Mimi continued to explore the world around her, but she also knew that she would always have a special place in her heart for her cozy little corner of the forest. And though she would never forget the magic of her journey, she also knew that home was where her heart truly belonged. Over the next few days, Mimi found herself thinking constantly about her journey. She couldn't help but wonder what other amazing things lay beyond the forest, just waiting to be discovered. Despite her newfound sense of adventure, Mimi remained rooted in her love for her home and her friends. She spent most of her days exploring the forest around her burrow, searching for new paths and new creatures to meet. But at night, as she snuggled down into her cozy bed, she dreamed of the wide world beyond. It wasn't long before Mimi's sense of curiosity got the best of her once again. One day, while out on a walk, she noticed a small, winding path that she had never seen before. Without a second thought, she scampered down the path, eager to see where it led. The path wound its way through the forest, twisting and turning in unexpected ways. Mimi's heart raced with excitement as she realized that she was venturing further and further from her familiar surroundings. As she walked, Mimi noticed that the forest was growing denser and darker. The trees towered high above her, their branches tangled together in a thick canopy that blocked out the sunlight. The air grew colder and damper, and Mimi could feel the chill seeping into her bones. Despite the darkness and the cold, Mimi continued to press forward. She was determined to see where the path led, no matter what lay ahead. Finally, after what felt like hours of walking, Mimi emerged from the dense forest and into a wide open meadow. The grass swayed gently in the breeze, and a babbling brook wound its way through the center of the meadow. But as Mimi looked around, she realized that she was not alone. A group of animals, unlike any she had ever seen before, were gathered in the center of the meadow. There were creatures with long, shaggy fur and sharp, pointed teeth. There were animals with wings and animals with scales, and there were creatures that seemed to glow in the dim light of the meadow. Mimi felt a flutter of fear in her chest. These animals were unlike anything she had ever seen before, and she wasn't sure if she was welcome among them. But as she hesitated, a gentle voice called out to her. "Hello there, little mouse," the voice said. "We don't get many visitors here. What brings you to our meadow?" Mimi stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. "I'm just exploring," she said, trying to sound brave. The animals gathered around her, their eyes curious but friendly. They asked her all sorts of questions about her life in the forest, and Mimi found herself telling them all about her cozy burrow and her friends. As the day wore on, Mimi realized that she had found a new group of friends. These animals were unlike any she had ever met before, but they shared her sense of curiosity and adventure. As the sun began to set, Mimi knew that it was time to return home. But she promised to return to the meadow, to explore and learn more about her new friends and the world beyond the forest. Over the next few weeks and months, Mimi continued to explore the forest and beyond. She ventured further than ever before, always eager to learn and discover more about the world around her. And even though she loved her home and her friends, Mimi knew that there was a whole world waiting for her to explore. She was grateful for the curiosity that had led her on her journey, and she knew that it would continue to guide her as she explored the world beyond her cozy little corner of the forest. As Mimi continued to explore the world beyond the forest, she encountered many different creatures and landscapes. She discovered vast deserts, towering mountains, and sparkling oceans. She met animals that could speak in ways she never imagined, and she learned about customs and traditions that were foreign to her. Through her travels, Mimi discovered that the world was full of wonder and beauty, but she also saw its darker side. She witnessed animals who were treated unfairly and environments that were being destroyed by humans. She realized that there was much work to be done to protect the planet and its inhabitants. With this newfound knowledge, Mimi decided to become an advocate for the animals and the environment. She used her travels and her experiences to educate others and to promote conservation efforts. She spoke out against poaching, deforestation, and pollution, and encouraged others to take action to protect the planet. Mimi's advocacy work took her to many different places, and she met many other animals who shared her passion for the environment. She became a leader in the movement to protect the planet, and her work inspired many others to get involved. Despite her busy schedule, Mimi never forgot her roots. She remained close with her friends in the forest and visited her burrow often. She shared her stories of adventure and inspiration with her friends and encouraged them to join her in her efforts to protect the planet. As Mimi grew older, she looked back on her journey with pride and gratitude. She was grateful for the curiosity that had led her on her journey and for the friends she had made along the way. She was proud of the work she had done to protect the environment, and she knew that there was still much more to be done. One day, as she was sitting in her burrow, Mimi heard a tiny voice calling out to her. She turned to see a young mouse staring up at her with wide eyes. "Hello there," Mimi said, smiling. "What brings you to my burrow?" "I heard stories about your adventures," the young mouse said, her voice filled with awe. "I want to see the world, too." Mimi's heart swelled with joy as she realized that her journey had inspired another young mouse to follow in her footsteps. She knew that the world was still full of wonder and beauty, waiting to be discovered by curious little mice like herself. And with that, Mimi knew that her journey was not yet over. She took the young mouse under her wing, and together they set out to explore the world, eager to discover all that it had to offer. As they journeyed together, Mimi shared with the young mouse all that she had learned throughout her adventures. She showed her the wonders of the natural world, from the beauty of a sunrise to the majesty of a mountain peak. She introduced her to new animal friends and taught her about the importance of protecting the environment and its inhabitants. The young mouse was in awe of everything she saw and heard. She asked countless questions and listened intently as Mimi shared her wisdom. She marveled at the beauty and diversity of the world and felt a deep sense of gratitude for being able to experience it. As they traveled, Mimi also helped the young mouse to overcome her fears. She taught her how to be brave in the face of danger and how to trust her instincts. She showed her that even the smallest of creatures could make a difference in the world, and that each and every one of them had a unique purpose and value. Through their journey, Mimi and the young mouse forged a deep and lasting bond. They shared laughter and tears, triumphs and setbacks. They encouraged each other and learned from each other, and in the end, they both emerged stronger and wiser for having taken the journey together. As they reached the end of their travels, Mimi knew that it was time for her to pass the torch to the young mouse. She knew that it was now her turn to carry on the legacy of exploration and advocacy, and to inspire others to do the same. Mimi gave the young mouse a heartfelt goodbye, but she knew that they would always be connected. She watched with pride as the young mouse set out on her own journey, eager to explore the world and make a difference. And so, the curious little mouse who once set out on a journey to find out more about the world had now become a mentor and role model for the next generation of adventurers. Mimi's legacy lived on through the young mouse, and through all the creatures who were inspired by her courage, curiosity, and passion for the world around her.